Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this a very simple suburban style house. If you enjoy this video, please do remember to hit that like button, I'd really appreciate that. And if you want to make any more stuff by me, I'd highly consider subscribing and considering checking out the card system and the description below for all of my other stuff. But without any further ado, let me show you how to make this very nice, very simple suburban house. So before we discuss what we need, I should let you know that the house will roughly fit into a 20 block by 13 block area. This does not, however, include the garden out front of the house. This covers pretty much the main living space and the garage, but not the garden. So make sure that you've got an area as big as, or probably a little bit bigger than this. And once you have your space, you'll need all of these materials right here. Every single one of them. Make sure that you've got them all. We're going to start off with this main row right here. Pause the video if you have to do any of those things. And once you do have your materials, you have your space planned out, we can begin. So we're going to start off the build with a row of 7 grey concrete coming up from the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We want to go right by 3. 1, 2, 3. Place a white stained glass pane, followed by 4 additional grey concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to hit the ground with that 4th grey concrete. And then you want to extend it and connect it to where we first started, to give us something which should look like this. We want to place a row of white stained glass pane underneath the white stained glass pane that we have. We actually want to place one glass pane underneath that glass pane and then extend it left and right. Additionally, on top of that very first glass pane, we want to place a grey concrete. We want to extend it left by 2, 1, 2, and right by 2, 1, 2. And we want to finish this by extending the center concrete upwards by an additional block. Like so. We want to grab a door. You can use any door that you like. I prefer iron in this particular case. You want to place a door right at the very base center of the build. It's easy to figure out where that is because it's like where the concrete is at the top of the build. We then want to fill the entire rest of the front of the house in using grey concrete. So simply use your grey concrete to completely fill in all of the rest of the front of the house. Like this. We want to place a birchwood plank underneath the front of the door. And extend that plank left by 3, 1, 2, 3, and right by 3, 1, 2, 3. Place 2 rows of birch in front of this. 1 and 2. Place a quartz slab in front of the birch, the middle birch specifically. It's where the door is. Extend the quartz slab left one, right one. Grab the jungle leaves and place a row of jungle leaves going around the outside of the birchwood planks on the left and the birchwood planks on the right, like this. We then want to place a row of white stained glass pane on top of the outer birchwood planks, allowing enough space for us to actually be able to walk onto the house and through the door. We have to build up an area around the door. We want to place 2 pillar quartz blocks left of the door and right of the door coming up from the ground. 1, 2, 1, 2. Place quartz slabs on top of these and then connect them in the center. We then want to use a button to pretty much, it wants to basically look like a doorbell, and we just want to place it on the right of the pillars, left of the pillars, whatever it is. Now we are going to build up the rest of the dimensions of the house because that's a significant amount of the front of the house. We want to take the sides of the house, the left hand side and the right hand side, and we want to place 10 rows of grey concrete coming backwards from the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we want to build up these rows of grey, and we want to just build some solid walls. So solid walls of grey coming backwards from the right hand side of the house and the left hand side of the house like this. So that is the right hand side, and then the left hand side also we just want to fill in using our grey concrete. So we're just going to fill both of these rows in. They come back as far as the lines that we have drawn on the floor, and it's pretty much as far back as the house will actually come. So we have placed the two walls coming backwards. We then want to connect them together at the back, and we want to fill in the volume at the back. So we basically just completely want to fill in the empty back wall that we have here. So just place all of the grey concrete like this, raising it all up, filling in the back. We then want to copy the same shape that we have on the front of the house onto the back of the house. So that means taking the very center block at the back of the house, extend it up by 1, left by 2, 1, 2, right by 2, 1, 2, and we want to take the center block and raise it up by an additional block as well, like that. We want to then give the house a roof. We use our quartz slabs for this, and we want to place a row of quartz slabs on the top right hand side of the build. So like on the top right hand side of the build, just place a row of quartz slabs that sit on the outer side of the house. Place in front of the quartz slab, so like sticking out the front of the house, you want to take that row of quartz, extend it out towards you by 1, then extend it in left 1, up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1, up 1. And you can kind of see what we've got going on here. That is the edge of the roof. We want to come to the opposite side of the build, and we want to do pretty much the same thing. So we'll take the left hand side, we'll place a row of quartz slab on the left hand side at the top. We want to extend the front of the row out of the front of the build by 1 row, and then we want to extend it right, up, right, up, right, up, right, up, like that. And the same can be done at the back of the build also. So if we come to the back of the build, we want to extend it back, and then left, up, left, up, left, up, left, up, left, up. And if we come to the opposite side of the build again, we can join it in the middle by extending it backwards, and then right up, right up, right, oh, hang on, right up, like that. And then we are simply going to connect the front of the build to the back of the build. We're just going to use the outer parts of the quartz slabs, and we are just going to connect the front of the roof to the back of the roof, just so that we don't have any holes in our roof, because that is the last thing that we want to get, like rain and ghasts and meteors and space shuttles and stuff landing in our house, because we really don't want that. So we're just going to connect the front of the roof to the back of the roof. We only have a couple more rows to do, and that will be the main part of the house complete. This will be the middle part of the house complete. So we want to have something which should look like that, and that looks quite nice by itself. A little bit simple, but very, very nice. And what we now want to do is add the right hand side of the house. So if you begin at the back right hand corner of the house, like right here, you want to, from this block, move it inwards by 2, 1, 2, and then place a row of 5 grey concrete coming out of the side of the house, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you then want to come to the front of the house, the front right hand corner, and you want to move backwards by 2 from this corner, 1, 2, and then place another row of 5 coming out of the side of the house, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Connect those blocks together. We then want to take the 2 corners, basically the 5th blocks, and we want to raise them up by 3, 1, 2, 3, and also this back one, 2, 1, 2, 3. We want to fill the right hand side of this part of the build in using grey concrete, so we're just going to fill the right wall in with grey concrete, and then we want to take the very top center of the wall, extend it upwards by 1 block, and then left 1, right 1. The back of the build wants to be filled in using grey concrete also, so we just want the back to be plain. But the front is actually where things differ a little bit, in that we're going to have a window. So we want to take this third block, or fourth block I should say, this corner block that we raised up, we want to extend it, connect it to the wall like this. We want to extend down, connect downwards to form a rectangular shape, and then we want to fill it in using white stained glass pane to form a window like this. We're then going to use our wooden trapdoors, and we're going to place wooden trapdoors on the side of the window like this. And we're also going to give the window a window sill. I'm going to use quartz slab for this. We're then going to give this part of the house, we're also going to give this a roof as well. So we're basically going to take the front top of this part of the build, we're going to place quartz slab in front of it, and we're going to extend it outwards by 1. We're then going to extend the quartz slab, as if we're looking at it sideways, we're going to extend it inwards 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, like this. And that's where the middle of this part of the house is. So if we then come to the back, and we place a row of quartz slab across the top again, and we extend that quartz slab outwards by 1, and then we can extend the quartz slab in 1, up, in, up, like this, and then we are simply going to connect the outer part of the roof to the wall. It's pretty much the exact same procedure that we used to fill in the previous part of the roof. So, you just build up one side, you meet them in the middle, you can see how it works, and then you have a nice functional roof before you know it. And it does look very nice. I really like this particular roof, especially with this sort of suburban style house. It's a very simple design. I really like it. So that's the right hand side of the house taken care of. Now if we move to the left hand side of the house, we have a garage to make. That's right, we have a garage. So if you come to the front bottom left hand corner of the front of the house, like just here, you want to take this grey block and you want to place a row of 4 pillar quartz block coming up from the ground next to the left hand side of the house. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Place 2 rows of pillar quartz in front of this, equal in height to the first row, like so. We then want to take the top of the front pillar quartz row and we want to place 4 quartz slab going left of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we want to place pillar quartz block coming up from the ground to meet the quartz slab, like this. We then, behind this row of pillar quartz block, we want to place 10 rows of pillar quartz coming backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they want to be equal in height to the previous rows of pillar quartz block. So like this, we're just building up the side of the garage door. We are then going to connect this to the side of the house simply by using pillar quartz block, which are once again, they are the same height as the previous pillar quartz rows. We then want to connect it to the front of the build, and we're going to connect it to the front of the build by placing a row of pillar quartz block to turn this into a solid shape like this. We want to fill in the garage door by placing a row of light grey concrete behind the row of quartz slab that you have at the front of the build, like this. And we're going to place rows of stone slab moving downwards from the light grey concrete, like this. So to form a garage door sort of effect, that's what we're actually looking for. We're now going to fill the top of this, the garage, in using light grey concrete like this. And this is going to form the top of the garage. I'm going to place a row of birch fence all the way around the top of the garage. The birch fence is going to connect to the house like, it only wants to connect to the house, like, touching the first grey concrete that it would come in contact with. It doesn't, like, want to come all the way across like this, if that makes sense. Like, you only want to place as little birchwood fence connecting to the house as possible. So one at the front and one at the back. We're also going to place an entrance out onto the balcony, which is the top of the garage. So we want to destroy a 2-block space somewhere in the middle of the wall leading out onto the garage. We want to place glass left and right of the door, or the doorway that we've placed. And then we're going to place potted plants in the form of a cauldron and jungle leaves left and right of the door. And that's basically a cauldron with then a jungle leaf on top of it, and we have the 2 glass to signify a door. And that is the house, that is the garage, and that is the right hand side of the house. That is all 3 components of the house complete. However, if you want to spruce up the area a little, you might want to add a path leading out from the front of the house. So I'm going to use grey concrete with light grey concrete in the, or maybe even white concrete might look better. I'm going to use grey concrete with white concrete in between to create a path leading out from the front of the house. I'm going to take the edge of the left hand side of the path and I'm going to taper it, and I want to use a row of grey concrete like this, and I want to form a boundary between the left hand side of the house where we have the garage door and the middle part of the house where we have the path. And I'm going to destroy all of the grass in the center here and all of the green concrete and terracotta and all of the lime terracotta and stuff that I've used. I'm going to destroy all of it, and I'm going to replace it with stone bricks. Just because I would usually use stone slabs in this situation because I like the color and I like the texture, but we've used stone slabs for the garage door, so I didn't want to repeat myself. And now we have a nice little driveway. You might even feel the need or the want to add perhaps like a bit of like maybe like a jungle leaf, or maybe even like some fence or something to kind of like separate the garage and the path or something, like to kind of just like separate the outside of the house from the rest of the house. Something like that might suffice. Maybe even you want to add a bit of a fence in there just to kind of like, I don't know, just to kind of like spruce things up a little bit. Maybe if you line it up with the garage door, that looks alright. So it looks as though that you could like straight up just drive the car straight out. Looks quite good like that. I'm going to extend the pathway forwards by 1 row to compensate for what I've just done. So, should I do that? Yeah, maybe I'll extend that out by 1 row, and then I'll place like a grey concrete. And then I'm going to use the stone slabs to kind of like create a bit of a boundary between the right hand side of the house. Like this. I'm going to use the stone slabs to kind of like create a boundary on the right hand side of the house, and I'm going to use my trusty grey terracotta and lime terracotta to create the sort of like artificial grass looking stuff. So basically, instead of just having your run-of-the-mill regular Minecraft grass, which is fine and everything, I just don't quite like it as much on certain builds. So what I like to do sometimes is place horizontal rows of lime terracotta, followed by horizontal rows of lime terracotta, lime and then green terracotta, I should say. I think I said that wrong, but you guys will get the idea from what I'm doing anyway. And it actually makes what I would call artificial grass. It looks like it's been like mowed in that fancy way that you see in real life, and it looks quite nice. And you can see that the house can be steadily improved by just doing nice little bits and bobs like that. And you can see that the front of the house is now a lot more appealing than it used to be. in my opinion. You guys might think a little bit differently than me, but I actually really like how that's turned out. If you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. I honestly would. If you do like the video, if you enjoy the house, please do hit that like. Subscribe to the channel if you want to check out more, and click the little bell next to the subscription button if you do want to make sure that you keep up to date with all of my stuff. If you want to check out more of my stuff, you should check out the card system in the description below. This is a good part of my world for checking out additional suburban style houses and some modern houses as well. We have quite a lot of them surrounding us, including quite a lot of cartoon related builds in the background. So you can see that I kind of get up to quite a lot of stuff. Check it all out, the card system description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.